Alright, so playing a new deck here today. It's a favorite of mine. It's the Waru Mack Bureaucrats deck. The theme of it is we try and stall out with these bureaucrats and then try and win using the Grand Endeavor permanent. It's a little bit of a cheesy strategy, but it's a fun little cheesy strategy. So in the opening hand, we definitely don't want to keep the Grand Endeavor, even though it's the core of the deck. Can't afford a 6 mana. Quetzalcoatl, amazing card. Probably don't want 2 of them. I really like the idea of using Frog Prince and something else to try and get some momentum. With that in mind, let's keep this. So let's just have a turn 1 play and a turn 2 play pretty consistently. Hosting a mirror match. So just for explanation, Waru Mack lets you, if you control a bureaucrat at noon, you create a recruit, and then when you play a bureaucrat, you may put it to sleep. So let's think about our day 1. I want to try and steal some momentum as much as possible in this deck, and the reason why I want to do that is because I want to be able to get enough ahead that when I play the monument, which I should explain moves 1 forwards every noon, I can kind of just stall from that point onwards and win the game. So what I want to do here is I want to play the Frog Prince not asleep. That'll get me a movement. And because I'm versing another Waru Mack, they'll probably play something and put it to sleep. And then, what I can do then is put my Archivist here to sleep. And it'll wake up next turn, it has big stats, it'll counter their movement next turn. And I'll get 1 this turn. Fingers crossed that works out. They have a similar play to me. Very good. We'll both move, but that's fine. This version of the deck that I'm running, this Grand Endeavor version, it's a little bit of a meme. Like, this is my pet card, I really like it. It's probably better to just play the regular version, because then you can play some kind of more support inclusions, like the Orders Trooper. Whereas I'm using a lot of those slots to play things like Grand Endeavor and things that support that. So we drew Istok. Istok is kind of the cornerstone of this deck. It slows the opponent down. At most, they can move 1. If I get 2 of them, they can't move at all. And then if I'm doing that and moving 1 free a turn, I can really get a lot of advantage here. Probably just wanna... I think I want to keep the Istok since it's such a big win condition for the deck. But Baba Yaga is very good early draw. So is Quetzalcoatl. You know what? I'm going to take the L. A friend of mine says that when you play Altered, you have to be, you can't be greedy at all when it comes to mana. You have to, kill your darlings, put really important things into mana, because what matters is kind of the here and now, not the late game. But I think I just want to implicitly answer them here. It lets them put the Orders Trooper on the right-hand side and move forwards, but that's still making them spend a resource. If they put it on the left-hand side here, it doesn't do anything. Ooh, Robin Hood. Oh, that's gonna kill me. This is a really strong play. It's probably one of the best cards in Altered at the moment. Cards I play cost 1 more. It's gonna be really back-breaking. Thankfully, Quetzalcoatl, I can still play this turn, and I absolutely should. It's gonna answer Robin Hood again next turn, so I'll just put it here to sleep. This is a really interesting mirror match. I've never played this mirror match before, but basically it seems like whoever goes second has a lot of advantage because they can sleep their things in response to the first player. But yeah, them drawing this Robin Hood is really bad for me and my chances at winning this game now. Legator's also getting them a lot of value. That's interesting. I put this card in the deck because it seems good in Waru Mack. I can very commonly get 3 to 4 characters out, but I find I often draw it early in the game when I only have 1 or 2 characters out, which isn't fantastic. I need to play around Robin Hood, which is just going to wreck me. I think I'm just going to put this into mana, play the Council, and kind of pray that carries me somewhere. I'm very curious to see where they put their recruit. I could definitely see them placing it on the left-hand side to beat me implicitly. So I might just counter that now. Gives me at least the like illusion of being ahead for the moment. But they have a lot of low cost drops which are going to serve them very well here. Whereas for me, I'm just sitting on this quite expensive council. Funnily enough, I think I would be in a quite good position if they didn't have Robin Hood, since I could play both of these out, and that would be very good. But as it stands, I have to put something to sleep so I have any momentum. I don't think it matters where I put this, really. I'm just gonna put it, yeah. One of the main things is thinking about where you're letting them move. So hypothetically, this lets them move here next turn on the left-hand side. And that's good for me because I want them to get off that starting zone as quickly as possible so they don't have the advantage of having tri-color options. This game is in a really rough position. They double sabotage from the legate, give them a lot of advantage. Maybe I should have played around that, played something from reserve. But yeah, Robin Hood is just going to be absolutely backbreaking, especially since next turn they're first player and they can just slam down Robin Hood again. Thinking about how I dig myself out of this hole, I probably have to hope to get another small drop. If I get another 2-drop, I can drop Baba Yaga and that other 2-drop, and I at least get to play a couple cards out in a turn, get to draw a card from Baba Yaga. Well, we each move once this turn, that's not too bad. Something I kind of found out recently is you have these little arrows on your tokens when they're going to move. I didn't realize that for the longest time, and it makes it a lot easier to read the game state. Cancel doesn't do much in this matchup. The counter-triggering things, we don't have many triggered effects, we have a lot of static effects in Bureaucrats, so I'm not too concerned about where I played this. That's interesting. There's a world where... Let me think about it. Yeah, there's a world where I would have played that to the left and not to sleep. That way I get the double advance. But this way they really shore up their next turn, which I can respect that. Especially since they just absolutely want to play Robin Hood next turn. No doubt in my mind. Ugh. I'll get my own Robin Hood, which honestly mightn't be the worst play in the world. They'll play their Robin Hood under the assumption that they can play something else, and then I'll stop that, which quite powerful. I'm still just playing from behind here, unfortunately. Definitely not going to be able to do the Baba Yaga and something else play. Robin Hood is a good consolation prize. Thoth is kind of an okay card in the deck. The rare version is interesting, so it creates 2 recruits, not just the 1 recruit. I think it's probably the worst rare Bureaucrat, and in part it's because it doesn't become any cheaper. Most rare versions of Bureaucrats become 1 cheaper, so the cancel is normally a 4-drop, the rare Frog Prince is a 1-drop, and I find this gives you a lot of ability to kind of sneak in little sleepy Bureaucrats to keep your ability rolling while still playing to the board, and I think that's very powerful. Whereas Thoth, he doesn't get any cheaper, so I don't think it's that good. So, putting Thoth into the mana. Yeah, so you can see, rare Frog Prince 1 less, rare Quetzalcoatl 1 less, and it's very good to keeping up your tempo. Where they put their recruit is going to be very interesting. Okay, I thought they might put it there, so they technically now have advantage on the right-hand side, and I'll mirror that, so I have advantage. I'm also almost definitely moving here with a 4 versus 1. I suspect this turn is they're going to put this here, go to sleep. I will counter it. We'll both just kind of sit here sad. Maybe they'll have another recruit? Like, honestly, this card seems quite good. Like, if they slam this down somewhere, it could give them a lot of momentum. Yeah, honestly, considering I've played against Robin Hood for a couple turns now, the fact that we're both in line with one another in terms of movement, I'm actually quite happy with. I think them playing this Frog Prince last turn not asleep. I think them playing asleep last turn was a mistake. I think they should have played it to the left. Okay, now I have this Gatekeeper, which I think is a very powerful card. I'm quite happy to have it. And I can play that alongside something else, like this. I was going to say the Baba Yaga, but considering I've seen how much their Legate does, it's tempting to play this out. I have to decide now. This will draw me a card, and this will sabotage them a card. They honestly have pretty big advantage, and with Robin Hood not going to reserve this turn, chances are everything they play is going to be asleep this turn. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually misses if I play it. I'm going to put that into reserve and just play Baba Yaga or the Gatekeeper. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7 from Robin Hood. I should actually play the Council and Order's Gatekeeper. The reason being is then I can at least have one of them asleep the next turn. Another consideration in this matchup is where you put your recruit really matters, especially if we have like mirroring asleep things like this. Again, I think it really favors the second player, since they can choose to either contest my placement of the Order's recruit or split onto the other side. Now, I'm not too concerned about that this time, since I'll probably just put the Council to sleep somewhere, and then the Gatekeeper somewhere else. Actually, thinking about it, I should probably lead with the Gatekeeper. Let's lead with the Gatekeeper here. Free, they don't have an Order's Spy, that would be really bad for me. With that in mind, I probably should have played the Council first. But at least now I can counter whatever they put as asleep. Honestly, looking at this game state, I think I'm coming back way better than I expected to have. The unique version of this is very powerful when you replay it. My Robin Hood is going to stick around longer than their Robin Hood. This is their last turn of Robin Hood. I'm very scared about them having another one, but we'll see. So, yep. This kind of paid off. They didn't have a sabotage effect, and they put their Quetzalcoatl asleep here. So I can place this here, put it to sleep, and next turn will be matched again on power. Currently, I'm moving twice. They have 3 mana left. They have at least the frog they can play. Probably something else from hand. See what happens. I'm almost worried for them. Maybe they'll play the frog asleep again, which could be quite bad for them, when they could definitely just slam the frog to the right and get the advance. But chances are they also have something else in play if they're considering it this hard. I think Waru and Mack players just always like playing to the future, like putting everything to sleep they can. And I understand that want. It's a really powerful effect. You kind of get this weird momentum build-up in Waru and Mack, where you can kind of play a lot of things to asleep the previous turn, and then on the next turn, if you don't play anything to sleep, you essentially have 2 turns worth of cards in 1 turn, and that allows you to really hammer home an advantage. It's actually one of the main ways Waru and Mack wins, is you get to kind of game point, and then suddenly you have 2 turns worth of cards at once. I think at the moment, I'm hinging a lot of my hopes on the replay of this Order's Gatekeeper. It's a unique, so I'll explain it a little bit, but basically, when it leaves play, it creates a token. And then when I put it back into play from reserve, it deletes a token, or anything, and I create 2 tokens in each expedition. So that's an amazing amount of power, spread out really strongly. And I'm really hopeful that this will get me back into the game. So, let's see if they put it to sleep or not. No, good, I'm glad. So yeah, another double advance here. Very standard. I'm happy with this positioning. I'm a little worried at this point that we're not going to see the Grand Endeavor, the card that this entire meme deck is built around. But honestly, it's in such a strong package, I don't need to see it to have any chance of winning. Right, Order's Gatekeeper's going to create me a recruit. Quite good because it counters their Quetzalcoatl free recruit. We'll end up with the same amount of power in play. And here we see it finally, which is quite good. And we also see Bountiful Meadow, which is a card I really like as well. And we have a hard decision to make here around put into play. Ideally, I would just like to play both of these. I think this gives me a really good advantage. The worry is that they have another Robin Hood, which would counter that play entirely. I want to play Bountiful Meadow. It very quickly makes its cost back, this turn and next turn it makes its cost back. But I'm worried about how many turns there are left, and I think having Baba Yaga in play is just some power is more important. I think it's better to not read the Bountiful Meadow. Especially in the mid to late game, you don't need the mana rock that much. Even if it pays itself off, it's only going to give me 1 or 2 extra mana over the course of the game. Whereas if you see that early, it gives you like 5 or 6 mana and it's incredibly powerful. They put their recruit to the left hand side, I'm just going to mirror that. Unfortunately, nowhere I'm on cares about Earth, so this big Earth stat's not going to be particularly relevant. It can block their Earth advance here, but Orders is a very balanced faction. We're not going to see them having a massive amount of Earth unless they also have maybe a Gatekeeper. Okay, not a Robin Hood. That's what we wanted to see. We're gonna now have to play, get to play our own Robin Hood, which is just going to shut off their ability to advance. Looking at the regions, I want to end up on a green next turn with Robin Hood, so let's sleep it on the right-hand side. So, just to think a moment, now would be an okay time to play the Grand Expedition. If I play the Grand Expedition, I can then play Baba Yaga, maybe get advantage on the right-hand side. I think that's a bit silly. I think I should play Robin Hood, and then while Robin Hood is active, play Grand Expedition. Put it here. Let's put it to sleep. Yeah, I shouldn't delay playing what I think is the strongest card in the format. Well, on the bright side, that won't hit the Grand Expedition. On the downside, I don't get... but I do think I get a double advance this turn, which is going to be very powerful to getting me the lead in this game. Character should I sacrifice? I think I should sacrifice this character here. That way I have a chance of contesting both. Because if I sacrifice this character here, I'll end up with 2 total here, but they can beat that with almost anything. So I'm going to play this here. I'll sacrifice this character on target. And it'll create so many tokens. Do I have to? You may sacrifice, okay, I was curious about that. So at the moment, double advancing, very strong. I'm gonna say I suspect they can counter one of my movements with what they have in hand. But they only have 1 card in hand, it's very likely that this might just be a very costly card. And they just can't play it. Yeah, we get the double advance. Very strong for me. In fact, I think I've actually won here. I think that they can't win next turn. I play Grand Endeavor. I get the free advance in the noon phase. I win the game. It's why I think these free movement cards, they kind of seem like memes. Like they kind of seem like they are a funny idea, but not really worth it. But I think in practice, they are actually one of the strongest cards in the game. Like it's just so easy to get into a position where the game is over, and they don't have counterplay to that fact, even though they haven't. Like I don't have to win Expedition. Alright. Do I just want to play it out immediately? My concern is if they have Robin Hood, which we've seen a lot of our decks, they probably are likely to get a second one around now. If I play out Baba Yaga, it allows me to still play Grand Endeavor, draws me a card. I think this is probably the best play. Too much training. Baba Yaga is one of the first cards I pulled. It's very exciting because it's the Kickstarter alt art. It comes in the foil copy, which looks so amazing. And I love the Howl's Moving Castle reference. And it cares about bureaucrats. I was always going to play Waru Mack deck. I love the idea of like stolly paperwork pushing bureaucrats as a competitive deck. So I love bureaucrats, and I'm happy to see it here. Alright, so they have enough mana to still play another Sticky Note Seal, which would suck here. They didn't put the Quetzalcoatl to sleep. They know they can't afford to let me have an advance here. I'm just going to slam down it and see what happens. They remove it, they remove it. Very good chance the game is over. And if they remove it... Oh, they pass. They know what's happening. They've lost the game, I've won the game. Alright. That's the deck. Very happy the Grand Endeavor actually came into it. It ended up winning the game for me, which it happens way more than I would expect. Like again, the deck was kind of intended as a meme. I just wanted to make this card work somewhere, and it's honestly just been such a fantastic card in this deck. Let's give them a good game. And I get slightly more out of bronze. Anyway, Hope you enjoyed this gameplay. It's such a weird deck. I really enjoyed the concept of it, like these kind of bureaucrats pushing for like infrastructure projects in the Tumult. But it's turned out to just be kind of this kind of fantastic dark horse deck where I'm playing one of the strongest decks in the format, sacrificing a few kind of like edge case utility pieces to just put in that weird possible win con. You didn't see it this game, but one of the things that keeps happening is if you get that in play, and then get the 2 orbs that stop your opponent from advancing, they can't advance at all, and you get 1 free advance a turn, and because you can put them to sleep, you end up getting like 4 turns of free advancement. Kind of a bit toxic, honestly, but I like it. It's funny. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.